We trust God more than we trust our money. Now that's good teaching. We trust God more than we trust our money. So the question becomes, how can we trust God more than we trust our money? How do we Hi friends, E.C. Maltby here, Senior Pastor of the True Holiness Saints Center in the beautiful city of Conway, Arkansas. And you know what time it is. It is Wednesday Word time. So what is our Wednesday Word for tonight? Our Wednesday Word is habit. More importantly and more specifically, I want to talk about the habits of highly impactful people. So what is a habit, Pastor Maltby? In my opinion, a habit is quite simply an established pattern of behavior. A habit, an established pattern of behavior. A habit can be considered our daily routine or rituals. It is what we consider our norm from day to day. In most cases, habits are automatic. We do them without even thinking about them much. Again, today I want to give you 3 habits of highly impactful people. So if you're writing notes, write this down. Point number 1. Highly impactful people, they live by their commitments and not their mood swings. Now that's good teaching. They live by their commitments and not their mood swings. Highly impactful people refuse to allow their emotions to control them. So why is this important, Pastor Maltby? Because the truth of the matter is our emotions will lie to us. In fact, Jeremiah 17:19 says it best. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Who can understand it? In other words, our heart will deceive us. It will lead us astray. And I wonder how many of us listening to me over the internet, I wonder how many of you can testify that you have foolishly trusted your heart when you should have been trusting your head. Yeah. How many of you have foolishly trusted your heart when you should have been trusting your head to make big decisions in your life? I wonder how many of us would testify and be transparent today and say, you know what? I got in trouble because something felt right. What do you mean, Pastor Maltby, trusting our heart instead of our head? What do you mean going after something simply because it feels right? There are some people out there right now that can testify and say, you know what, Pastor, I know exactly what you're talking about because I got into a relationship with a person because it felt right. And I didn't take the time to get to know them, and I ended up regretting it. Somebody else would say, I entered into a contract with a person simply because it felt right. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't take the time to check references. I didn't read the online reviews. And simply because it felt right, I entered a contract or an agreement that I later regretted. It happens in relationships. It happens in contracts. But then sometimes we walk away from people or we walk away from situations that we later regret. Somebody out there can testify today, Pastor Maltby, you got a witness, because my anger made it feel right to walk away from that good friend. My anger made it feel right to walk away from that consistent paying me job. And I later regretted it. The truth of the matter is this: highly impactful people live by their commitments, not their feelings, because their feelings cannot be trusted. Feelings are fickle, they're inconsistent, they're unreliable. And when you listen to your feelings, they often lead you astray. 2 weeks ago on Sunday morning, I talked about self-discipline. And I had to be the first one to testify that sometimes I don't feel like getting up and going to work, but I need a paycheck. Somebody else says, you know what, Pastor Maltbill, I didn't feel like going to class, but I know I want to graduate. Perhaps all of us have said at one time or another, I don't feel like praying today, but we know we need God's protection, direction, and guidance. Others will say, you know what, I didn't feel like apologizing even though I knew I was dead wrong. If you want to be impactful in your life, you've got to live by commitments and not your feelings. We're just talking about habits today. The second habit of a highly effective person, they make managing their money a priority. They make managing their money a priority. And there are three basic principles of money management that I want to quickly share with you today. Principle number one, when you're managing your money and it's a priority. Principle number one, we trust God more than we trust our money. Now that's good teaching. We trust God more than we trust our money. So the question becomes, how can we trust God more than we trust our money? How do we live it out in our day-to-day life? And it's one way to do it. You do it by giving Him the first 10% of your gross income. See, when you give God the first part of your income, you're saying to Him, God, you're my source, not what's in my check. God, you're my source and not what's in my pocket. God, you're my source and not what I have in the bank or in stocks and bonds. God, you are my source, not my income stream. When you give God the first 10%, you're saying to Him, I trust you enough to do it your way. Listen, people often ask me, Pastor Maltbill, I don't know how you can teach people to give the first 10% of their income when they're struggling to pay their other bills. See, here's what highly impactful Christians believe. We believe that tithing is essential and not an option. That's what highly effective, impactful Christians believe, that tithing is essential and not an option. Let me explain to you what I'm talking about. When your money is tight, and you're not sure if you can pay all of your bills, let me ask you a question. When it comes between your lights and your credit card, which one do you pay? Everybody would say, well, I pay my lights. Now, why do you pay your lights? Because you see your lights as more important than your credit card. What I'm saying to you is a highly impactful Christian sees their tithing as their most important bill. So when it comes up against their credit card, when it comes up against their lights, when it comes up against other things, they always choose God first because they see it as essential and not just an option. I'm just talking about what highly impactful Christians, successful people do. So number one, they trust God more than they trust their money. But then secondly, they live within their means. Now that's somebody's sermon for the week. In fact, that's somebody's sermon for 2021. In fact, maybe you ought to type it in the comment section. Learn to live within your means. Highly impactful people believe in balling on a budget. That's something good to type in the comment section. I'm balling on a budget. Why do they believe in a budget, Pastor Maltbill? Because budgeting helps us to keep from drowning in a sea of unnecessary debt. The Bible says in Luke 14:28, it says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost and see if you have enough money to complete it? In other words, if you don't have the money in your budget, you don't go out and buy it. You refrain from instantaneous gratification. I don't care if it's the most recent iPhone. I don't care if it's the latest part of the collection. I don't care how much you want it. If it's not in your budget and it is not a need, you hold off until you get some extra money. Highly effective, highly impactful Christians, highly impactful people always ball on a budget. They always learn to live within their means. Here's the third principle. Managing our money effectively means having a rainy day fund. That's savings. Not only do you trust God more than you trust your money, not only do you live within your means, but you do everything you can to get a savings account. Gurus will tell you, financial gurus, that you need somewhere between 3 and 6 months of monthly expenditure saved up for a rainy day. And the truth of the truth of the matter is simply this: life is unpredictable. Unexpected bills always come up. For example, there might be an unexpected repair. Maybe you drive over a nail and need a new tire. Maybe an appliance in your house goes out. But you need to have something set aside for unexpected repairs. You need to have something set aside for unexpected doctor visits. You need to have something set aside just in case you're laid off or go through a furlough. Many people experienced this in 2020. People were laid off that never thought they'd be laid off. People lost their jobs that never thought they would lose their jobs. You need to put something back for a rainy day. The third principle is saving something for tomorrow. Again, we're simply talking about the habits of highly impactful people. The first habit is living by your commitments, not by your feelings. The second habit is managing your money as a priority. And here's the last habit, and I'm going to get out of here. They take care of their physical body. Highly impactful people take their physical body very seriously. Ephesians 5:29, the Apostle Paul says these words. He says, after all, no one ever hated his own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church. Highly impactful people believe in paying attention to their eating habits. Highly effective people believe in paying attention to regular exercise. Why? Because they realize that in order to function at a high level, they have got to give their body the fuel it needs to do the job. I'm not suggesting to you that you have to be so rigid in your eating or so rigid in your physical activity routine. But here's what I am saying to you. Social media quote for tonight. Garbage in, garbage out. Have you ever heard that before? Garbage in, garbage out. Other people say it like this: you are what you eat. And the truth of the matter is this: you cannot continue to expect your body to function at a high level if all you're doing is fueling your body garbage. This is the only body you're going to ever have on this side. You need to take good care of it. We take good care of our bodies, yes, with our eating habits. We take good care of our body, yes, with our exercise. But we take good care of our body by making sure we don't put the wrong toxins in our body. In our body. And the last thing I would say is simply this. One of the best ways you can take care of your body is through routine maintenance checkups. Routine maintenance. In other words, go to the doctor. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't like going to the doctor. I've got a heart doctor, I've got a primary care doctor, and I've got to see them once a year. I've got to give blood once a year. I don't like taking medicine, but the medicine that I have been given helps me to function on the level that God wants me to function. You cannot just hope that things are all right. Go get it checked out and make sure that things are all right. Our Wednesday word is this: habits. The 3 habits of highly impactful people. You've got to be more concerned about commitment than feeling. You've got to be very concerned about your finances. And you've certainly got to be concerned about your physical body. In conclusion today, I just want to remind you that the True Holiness Saints Center has started back in our in-person worship. And if you want to experience the True Holiness Saints Center live and in color, join us this Sunday morning at 11 o'clock at our Conway campus, 198 Highway 286 East. It is a 1-hour service. Masks are required, temperature checks are required, and social distancing is required. We're trying to keep everybody safe. And if you say, Pastor Maltby, I'm just not ready to make that commitment yet, then you continue to watch us right here online. Until we speak, my friends, be blessed.